Hello, Mr. Beaver. I'm not a beaver. Hey there. Hello. Hello, humans. Man, I hate this auto battle item in Divergent Universe. I probably won't pick it anymore. It makes everything take longer. Hello, loader. You getting Robin or Avon? On a few of my accounts, I'll try to get Robin. Not guaranteed, though. Unfortunately. I hope they buff Avon. To be honest, I think it's clear with the with the direction of current Avon that his Fua team synergy was probably more so of an afterthought, and it wasn't supposed to be his main team. I think. Like I do think Avon's strongest team is probably going to be his Elation team. And that's on purpose. Like, why does this game recommend speed on Gilgamesh? Why? Are you dumb? He doesn't want speed. Like, this guy already gets a fuck ton of speed. He doesn't want more speed. Why is this a recommended stat? They're probably trying to keep it in between for both teams. I mean, yeah. Like, for example, Pearl is leaked as a shielder, right? Oh, wait, no, that's bad, actually. M-Blade synergy with shielders is garbage. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're paying more attention to Isolation Team. I'm chilling right now. Now what? Now nothing. You just chill for eternity. Do you think they'll ever add more uses for the MOC currency? Nah, not really. They're probably just gonna keep it to free-to-play Lycones. That just means he should be better than Silverwolf? No. That doesn't really mean that at all. I pulled Ashblade for Avon. Am I cooked? No. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. At base, he might not be anything too special. But I do believe with his E1 and E2 investment, he's probably... I don't know. I might be wrong, actually. I feel like at E1, E2 investment, he's probably better than any other option. Simply because he now does his elation skill spam significantly more with his new updated Eidolons. But I could definitely be wrong. His E1 and E2 seem mid compared to other V4 DPSs? No. His elation skill just got buffed. And his E1 and E2 make it so that every 10 stacks of fervor he gets, he automatically does a free elation skill. And then his E2 allows him to do 5 of them, 5 extra elation skills. No, I get what you're saying, Loader. That's why I said base kit, it's different. I think at base, he's probably weaker than generalist supports, or like close. And then his value doesn't really start shining in FUA teams until you get his E1 and E2, which increase his FUA spam significantly more. Because with the increased FUA spam, it makes it much easier to get stacks for M-Blade and energy for Ashvale. Are they that scared of buffing Avon? I mean, they just buffed him. He's probably like 15 to 20% stronger at base now. And with Eidolons, he's probably further stronger than before than that. Like, his attack spam with Eidolons has to be very, very high at this point. Maybe the highest in the game. You're making me feel a bit better? No problem. I mean, like, I can understand people's frustrations, of course, but as with many things, people tend to kind of over-exaggerate how bad a character is a lot of the time. Like, he really isn't bad. He just isn't great, you know? But then again, I mean, the only thing that I find iffy is his best in slot sustain should 100% be Pearl. But unless Pearl has healing capability, it doesn't work with Emblade. That's the only predicament I see Avin kind of in. Because Pearl was leaked to be a shielder, speed buffs, sustain, and likes high attack frequency. Like, all of this works with Avin. But Emblade doesn't work with shielders. You know? So, maybe Pearl has some type of healing in her kit? I don't know. He is not best in slot in any team at release. That's normal for the majority of HSR characters of Asian. I'm just going to be honest. Like, that's just normal. He's against, in his Elation teams, Elation main DPSs, and against Fua teams, he's going against Action Advance Energy Regen, who just got buffed, S Robin, and Defense Shred buffing. And then he's up against E1 Gilgamesh in one cost comparisons. Fushuan has healing? Yeah, but Fushuan isn't a shielder, no? She's someone who puts damage reduction on allies. There's no shields. Would Pearl even work in Avin's Fua team since he needs to be the only Elation character in the team for the Elation skill to become Fua? Oh, you might be right. It might fuck with his Fua part of his kit. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think his Elation team is going to be stronger sustain team wise than his Fua one. I don't know. Isn't he the last slot in the Fua team? I mean, technically the Fua team doesn't even have a last slot. The Fua team could just get continuously buffed by stronger generalist supports in the future, like they currently are with Emblade and Robin. Their potential isn't even finished. If, for example, we start getting like massively strong res pen buffers in version 5, they'd probably go up. Avid, Nihilux, Pro, Yao Guang. I don't think Nihilux is going to be a support. I'm going to be honest. Maybe. If she's a support. I don't really see it though. Did you see the new lore leaks? Yeah, but don't talk about it here. I don't like talking about lore leaks. I mean, it was kind of obvious, but still. DPS feels bad. I feel like it would be better to just make him more dedicated to Fua. I mean, I don't know. I agree. It would have been better to just make him fully dedicated for either the Fua team or fully dedicate him to Elation instead of trying to do this split scaling bullshit. I hate it when HSR tries to do the split scaling shit. Because every time they've tried to do a split scaling character, what happens is that they end up being underwhelming in the teams they're supposed to be made for and get replaced way too quickly than they should. Because they want to do split scaling. Or split teams. He said Nihilux was a support. He did not say that. He said Nihilux was a DPS who could become a support for Silverwolf at E2 specifically. I'm pretty sure it wasn't support at base. Have they done a split scaling DPS before? Blade. It's a reverse Cyrene, yeah, basically. My imagination is it's possible that Nihilux's E1 and E2 both contain AoE team-wide supportive capability. So like res pen, vulnerability, defense shred, whatever. Something like that. And that's probably what can turn her into more so like support might be the wrong term. It might be sub DPS. I think it's more likely that she becomes a supportive sub DPS at E2 in Silverwolf teams. Unk is still walking around on stream. Yep. I mean, I just tried to farm some relics for Gilga, but my luck is trash. Maybe Jiaoqiu Nova is the mono men healer? Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If Jiaoqiu's ticks against enemies when they take a turn count as an attack towards Emblade's Fua, I could definitely see it. Yeah, loader. Is the rumor Nova still happening? Well, the date was never specified. It could be 4.7, it could be 4.6, it could be 4.8. They just said in the next Nova batch. No leaker ever specified a date for release. I mean, wouldn't the entire Fua team have relations to Zhang Zhou if Jiaoqiu is the best in slot? Oh wait, never mind, because Huo gets kicked out. I was thinking like Ash, Veil, Blade, Huo, and Jiaoqiu. This is basically just characters who have ties to Zhang Zhou in some way. I think they said that Jiaoqiu's a placeholder until they get their best in slot healer. I mean, yeah, that sounds about right. I don't think Acheron's buffs were ever given a specific date of release either, though. Just that they'd release sometime in this version, likely later half. Hello. I need to get this E2 M-Blade stat. And E1 Gilgamesh. What's my pity on Gilga currently? $60. Pretty close. I think they should drop the double option for DPS for Avin. No, I agree. Yeah. I don't know why they even try it. It always just never goes well. Thoughts on V3 buff for Avin? It's not bad. It's pretty good. His early verticals also got decently buffed. But, I still think he probably loses to Robin, to be honest, as a Fua teammate. I feel like he probably still loses to Robin. For V3, it felt underwhelming. I mean, Robin was never going to get that many changes. Robin was in an incredibly good spot right off the bat, so she didn't need many changes at all, which I mentioned in my previous videos. And then Avin gets basically a 20% multiplier increase for all his bounce damage and elation skills, and his ult cost gets reduced. He gets elation boost now and traces instead of defense. Like, Avin's buff isn't bad, but people were expecting Avin to suddenly, like, V3 comes and he's undisputed best in slot. That's what people had their expectations at. Like, undisputed, you know? Noticeably better. But that doesn't seem to be the case. They're clearly treating his Fua team as, like, a side option, in my opinion. I mean, I really feel like Avin in his full Pearl Yao Guang sustain team is probably going to be stronger. I don't know. I feel like that's the main team they're kind of targeting him towards, because they can sell more elation characters with that. Bro, nothing. What are you doing, man? Free Avin? He's not gonna be free. There's no way people are coping about him being free now. It's not happening. Robin's not getting nerfs? Oh yeah, definitely. There's just nothing to nerf. She's not broken. She's just really good. Same situation as M-Blade. Avon is the most E6 character in Pentagony. Why do you think his Eidolons got buffed? They know people are going to go for his Eidolons. His Eidolons received like the most changes and buffs. I'm sure his E0 to E2 jump is pretty hefty now, because his Fua spam is massively increased with it. Wasn't it Acheron? Acheron was the most popular and highest selling in the entirety of Pentagony, but that's probably because more people pulled base Acheron, while the dedicated Aventurine enjoyers pulled more E6s of him instead of base E0, is how I imagine it goes. Would you get her if you already have Emblade? Who? Invisible box of a tree right here. Robin? I mean, it depends on whether or not you have teams on your account that can take good advantage of her. It's really all it comes down to most of the time. I feel like people are doom posting less, but maybe it's too early. I mean, the first post I got recommended when I went on Reddit when the beta leaks dropped was Aventurine main saying how disappointed they are in the V3. And people in the comment, like, Aventurine's beta changes on the leaks Reddit has more comments than likes, I'm pretty sure. Remiel tomorrow, it's your sign to come back to ZZZ? I might give it a shot, yeah. I might give it a shot. Now that V3 HSR is out, I mean, I already made a video. I don't even need to do anything else. From what I saw, people were happy. I mean, let me see. Aventurine mains. Let's see the stuff. Oh my god, what a burp. I'm honestly just whelmed by his V3. It's a good step in the right direction, but there's still more they can do. They can move his E1 into base kit. Okay. Which will actually make him feel like a Fua character. And they need to give his elation skills attack scaling as well. If they are worried he'll be too OP scaling off of 2 stats, they can tack on a condition. Otherwise, now he benefits from damage and is 3 force as busted as Robin. And if we're not too greedy, let him grant Team Respen 2. Because it's about time a dude is allowed to do that at E0. They want him to have attack scaling as an elation DPS. His E1 with 24% respen and increased attack spam in his base kit. And then also make the respen team wide. I stand corrected, let me apologize, it's okay. I mean, to be fair, in terms of coat buffs that I've seen mains want for their character, That's definitely on the more realistic side, I'd say. Usually you see something like move E2 into base kit, and then also do this. Make them completely flawless. Yada yada yada. Like, that's usually what I see. Wait, if I go here with a smaller character, will I still get hit by the wall? No. It's only if you're too big of a character, the tree hitbox hits your character. But if you're small, you just walk right through. Not as bad as Phenon not consuming AV. Yeah, that was egregious. Da-da-da. Does anybody know when Sunbringer is coming out in ZZZ? Getting kind of tired of waiting. Or, actually, maybe I shouldn't complain. Because I guess this gives me a lot more time to save up. But yeah. This V3 is like not that hard to understand. It's pretty easy. I was struggling to make it an 8-minute video, which is why in my last video I have to like interrupt it at the end. Self-insert myself in there. You need to look at Claret? Eh. Maybe you should start dooming Saridra again? I don't want to kick a dead dog. Like, she legit just got replaced by Robin SP and Anoxa teams. Somehow. Somehow. My Anoxa account pulls an E2 Saridra, believing in the Saridra Cyrene synergy, staying the best, and then Robin SP just comes. I mean, I guess, man. I guess. Thank God it's an E2 Saridra at least. I hope Sunbringer will be a support. I don't. I mean, 3.6 is going to be the easiest beta ever, too. Actually, both 3.6 and 3.7. They're solo character patches. Jeez, man. Yao Guang is popular now that she's getting a lot of praise. Maybe now you should start to rage bait. What, by dooming Yao Guang? I mean, I don't like the rage bait stuff. I only like rage baiting if it's something I truthfully believe in. Like the Cyrene shit, I've been slandering Cyrene for the last year. Justifiably so. And it's aged like wine. But like slandering Yao Guang is a bit of a lie. Prepare to defend Yao Guang in 4.7 when Nihilux replaces her. Jeez, not letting the agenda go. the the infamous Yao Guang replacement. The Yao Guang replacement might be on the same level of like cope as the Genshin killer at this point. Oh, a new Genshin killer is coming around. Get ready to see Genshin die. 60 million next month. Yao Guang getting glazed? She's not necessarily getting glazed, but because so much more time has passed since she released at this point, people are starting to just realize that her value in Elation teams is incredibly high. She's the least replaceable, and you get a lot of good value out of her. Like, the comparisons to Tribby were always dumb. Chat without Summer and Tactician is peaceful. Well, Tactician is banned, and Summer is probably just asleep right now or something. I can't believe people compared her to Tribby. It was always so dumb in my opinion. I hated the Tribby comparisons. I was like losing it. I was actually losing it. These Avon changes are underwhelming. I mean, they help, but I get what you're saying. He's not the best Elation DPS, and he's not the best in slot for the Fua team still, probably. Or if he is, it's just not by a significant amount to justify pulling him over Robin SB, who has such good general use. I get it. Why is he banned? He keeps trying to... I mean, I hate using this term, but he really just is a Kurobot. Like, I'll make multiple videos talking about shit that annoys me with HSR. I make one video talking about how I think the path shit is stupid, and every time I make any video where I at all say anything that is against some criticism against HSR, he will comment that I'm a shill, and he's gonna push this agenda in my comments that I hate WUWA, I hate other games, I'm biased towards HSR. Like, that shit gets annoying, right? If it was a first time or a second time or a third time, I wouldn't care. But he's legit been doing this for like a year straight under my videos. So, at some point, I just get sick of it. I'm tired of warning people. Gabby is such a HSR shill. I mean, the reason I find it funny is because the game I most openly criticize on my channel is HSR. You know? Like, this is the game I talk shit about the most. The only thing I glaze about this game is how convenient it is. I don't really make videos or hit pieces on trying to talk about how shit WUWA is, ever. Nor have I really done it for any other game. It's only HSR I make videos on of like, yo, can we please fix this? Can we please get this? Can we please stop doing this? You know? I found him funny? I didn't. 99% of the time I didn't. I warned him that I didn't find it funny either, but he just kept going with it. It is what it is. You glaze the animation? What, for certain characters in this game? Yeah, obviously. I mean, I don't glaze every character's animations in this game. I find Ashvale's animations to be cool, but something that has always bothered me with this game is the fact that they treat the main pushes so much better than the non-main pushes, which is just kind of annoying. It's not that the non-main pushes are bad, but I don't know. A bit frustrating, personally. Like, I already know Nihilux is going to have absolutely disgusting animations, because she's obviously the third main push. Yeah. And to be fair, I also glaze Wu animations as well. Like, I really like Jing Ron's upcoming animations. I know they're going to give H-Sin the good treatment over there, because H-Sin is a pretty lore important character. Y'all want everyone to be main push? I mean, no. I understand it's unrealistic to want everyone to be a main push. The reason they make main pushes have significantly better animations than non-main pushes is because it creates a sense of scarcity, right? Like, oh, this is a limited time character. This isn't just like any other character. This character's animations are actually insane, right? If everybody has insane animations, then nobody's animations are technically insane. So now people don't care. It's like, oh, I can easily skip this character. It's a FOMO thing. But I do wish, in an ideal world, that they just treated everybody's animation quality equally. How's Robin V3? Slightly better than before. Better energy regen capability. The energy regen gain is no longer fixed, meaning she can benefit more from energy regen sources, such as the rope. Like, for example, she generates 3 energy when an ally moves. Now, with an energy regen rope, she'd be able to get a little bit more than that, right? Stuff like that. Oh, and when she uses her ult on an ally, that ally is now able to generate more vibe stacks for her when they attack. People pulling characters solely because of animations are dumb. Chill on me. Chill. I've done that a few times. Oh yeah, nothing. I think the biggest buff is probably Saber teams. Because now when she uses ult on Saber will gen 2 vibes per attack instead of just 1. Which, with Saber's self-action advance, and as well as her Fua with Gilga, like, I think it helps there the most, probably. Bring back Foldy Maru? I mean, it's technically impossible for me to fold because I play on so many different accounts with different pulling plans that every character I do pull actually fits into a team. There's not much room for folding. How is a E2 Phanon, E2 Cyrene, E1 Saridra, and a E1 Robin SP? Pretty good. Pretty good, yeah. In that team, you should be able to hit 100% defense shred on double skills. And then he also gets a pretty fat attack buff as well. the random Yang Yang in your account. I pulled the Yang Yang on purpose because I wanted to finally have an excuse to get Chisa. Because Chisa is one of my favorite characters from Wuwa. I dodged getting her originally because the only negative status teams were Zanny and Cart. And let's be honest, her value in those teams is incredibly underwhelming. But now she has teams like Yang Yang and Hiyuki where she actually matters. So I was like, let me just pull Yang Yang so I have an excuse to pull Chisa in the future. Is Avin V3 better than E1 Gilgamesh? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, his elation skill damage is significantly higher. The problem with comparing Avin to Gilgamesh is the comparison gets worse for Avin the more you go into Emblade investment, which is hilarious because Emblade investment is the first priority in the Fua team to begin with, right? So E1 Gilgamesh and base Avin, no matter what, should be close. But when you start talking about E2 Emblade, it's completely possible that E1 Gilgamesh is still stronger than Avin if we're talking about E2 Emblade comps. Because that is the first vertical investment you're supposed to go for. Considering E1 Gilga was better before, Avin increased his personal damage with these buffs, but still doesn't have any team damage, in a team where Emblade and Ashvale also have a good damage share, I'd say they're probably close. I think E1 Gilga and base Avin are probably close. For E6 Faye, should I get Saridra E0/E1, and is Robin worth for him? As far as I see, Robin SP is his 4-slot best in slot because of being able to give so much defense shred. What makes E2 Emblade good? He only needs 7 stacks now instead of 9 to do his Fua, and this amount of stacks allows him in high attack frequency teams to never again have to reactivate his ultimate, because his E1 just keeps getting the Fua spam cooldown from Emblade, so you never have to reset his ultimate. You can always use it for attacking. It happens more frequently, meaning he does more damage, but also there's 4 ultimate damage dealers. They now have their attack count as Fua, which makes it get buffed by Ashvale's Fua buffs. And then ultimate damage is also increased by 75% through his E2. So, yeah. You get a significant amount of damage bonus, and then you also get to take advantage of Ashvale's Fua buffs at the exact same time. Is Robin SP worth pulling for Himiko Nova? I don't know. Genuinely. I don't know. I mean, 4.6 and 4.7 are 2 Elation characters, and 4.8 is supposed to be a ZZZ collab. Even if there's a Robin SP replacement, we're talking at minimum, this Robin SP replacement would be like half a year away from her release. So, because it was leaked that we are getting another Astral Express member as a limited character in version 5, but we don't know when that is. You know? It could be early, it could be a main push, it could be in the later half. Like, nobody knows when that person's supposed to release. So, yeah, I'd probably just pull Robin. I'd pull the trigger. Because even if Robin gets replaced in the Himiko team half a year or more ahead, the thing is, she's a generalist, right? You can just put her on another team. It's not like there's anything stopping you from doing that. Action advance, energy regen, team-wide defense shred, and vulnerability buffing. You just can't go wrong with it, really. Thing is, if she's worth if you already have Emblade, in my opinion, yeah. We live in a world of 3 team endgame content now. And almost any team that isn't Elation can take advantage of Robin. And you can just have Emblade on another team. You can run Emblade and Robin together as well. Like, you can't really go wrong with it, in my opinion. Oh, 100% nothing. That's why I glaze generalists so much. Even if they don't necessarily have the most dedicated team that they're in there for, you can always use them as a fill-in slot if you don't have the full dedicated team, which happens very often. 99% of the time, you aren't going to have enough pulls to guarantee the entire best-in-slot team off the bat, you know? So you need a fill-in. I still use E1 Tribi on my free-to-play account. I've been using E1 Tribi since I pulled her. Insane longevity. What makes E1 Robin SP good? Her E1 increases her max vibe stacks from 50 to 70, which means the attack and crit damage buffing in her kit and her defense shred buffing, which both scale higher depending on the amount of vibe stacks you have, they both benefit from that. So before, you can only get up to 40% defense shred. With her E1, you can now get up to 50%, right? And then also, once again, the crit damage and attack buffing, depending on whether or not you're an attack scaler, also goes up. So both of those buffs get increased. Gabby is blind to my messages. Unk status is far worse than I expected. You're not typing, though. Oh, Gabby, can you give me access to the Faye account? Yeah, I'll do it later. Yeah. I got you. Thanks, no problem. Is Sunday the best aging support from 2.x? No. I'd argue because of her addition to the golden token, and you being able to get her E1 and E2 quite easily now, it's probably Robin again. Even if you don't even use her with an attack scaler, the universal use of team-wide action advance is so good. What's the plan for this account? E1 Gilgamesh, and then we just throw pulls at Robin and see if we can actually get her or not. If not, then this account would probably pull for Nihilux. Ignore this Evanescia. Useless pull. Like, we can use her temporarily, but like, at this point, because I already have Evanescia on that E2 Faye account, I'd probably just rather use this Yao Guang with Nihilux and Pearl. So the end game for this account is E2 Mblade E1 Gilga Fua team, E6 Fei E2 Cyrene Robin SP team, and Nihilux Yao Guang Pearl team. Those would be the 3 teams. That works, yeah. What if Nihilux is an EVA support? Nice one. Sunday will be the best aging support once he gets Nova'd. Yeah. Probably. I mean, if he gets a Sparkle level Nova, it's kinda a no-brainer. Sparkle level buffs. No longer gives damage bonus, gives actual hard buffs like Res Pen and stuff. E1 gets fixed. Defense Shred is much stronger on it. Action Advance, Energy Regen. You can't really go wrong. I hope you're right about Argenti Nova being a Herta sub DPS. I mean, I just can't see him not being a Herta sub DPS. Because who the fuck is going to care about Argenti if they just increase his main DPS capability? No offense, right? Like, I'm sure there's a few out there, but realistically, if the game is trying to make a profit off of his Nova Flare, Thirda just makes the most sense. Summer Robin and Sunday Nova would be the cutest duo ever. Yeah, that would be like Sunday Nova plus Robin SP would basically just be a new wheelchair, to be honest. Or like just a very strong support combo. I don't think Nihilux will be a DPS because one, we have too many Elation DPSs. Why does that matter? Hello? People were saying this same argument for Aventurine legit a little bit ago. Oh, Aventurine isn't going to have synergy with the Elation team. He's going to be an Elation character whose best in slot team is Fua. Because there's too many Elation main DPSs. Like, his best team is probably still the Elation one. This thing of, oh, there's too many Elation main DPSs. It doesn't matter to Hoyo. One more Elation main DPS equals one more sale for Yao Guang for them. The Yao Guang propaganda is endless. More Pearl sales as well. Two main pushes of this version are already DPSs? Brother, the only time we've ever had a main push not be a DPS was Cyrene. It's not normal to have one supportive main push and the other two are DPSs. We have one exception in the history of the game, and it was Cyrene. That's the only one. And there was like actual lore reasons for it. Was it Robin a main push? No. Robin was not a main push. The main pushes of version 2 were Acheron, Firefly, and Fei Xiao. V3, Castoris, Phanon, and Cyrene. And V4 is Silverwolf, Himiko, and Nihilux. There were no formal main pushes pre 3.x. No, there were characters leaked as main push before 3.x. I remember Fei Xiao being called a main push. You can also just tell by... Okay, every main push has unique kit / unique ult. Every single one. The only exception is Firefly. But Firefly technically has a unique kit. Because she was the first good... Well, not the first. But, you know, the super break damage dealer. Super break DPS. But Firefly is the only exception of a main push who didn't have a unique ult. Himiko also has normal energy. Yes, but she has a unique ult. Unique ult icon. You can just tell. And a unique kit. Specifically synergizes with Astral Express members. There's no one else in the game that has that kit. Special transformative ults? That's actually a good point. They do ult transform, don't they? I didn't even think about that. Not gonna lie. I didn't really think about that until now. They do all basically transform. Transformation slop. Can't wait to see that making the rounds on Twitter eventually. Since when does Castoris transform? Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, she technically gets a new type of kit by summoning Pollux. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Hello, Chameleon. Yeah, like the norm in HSR is for the 3 main pushes to all be DPSs. That's kind of the norm. It's not normal for a main push to be supportive. Cyrene, in my opinion, was just an exception because of the way the story works with the Chrysosairs. Fei Xiao deserves better. I've talked about this with my chat before. I'm not that worried about Fei Xiao because Fei Xiao, the reason they aren't novaing her currently is because it would be counterintuitive, right? Like, they're trying to sell you Avon, they're trying to sell you E1 Gilgamesh for these FUA teams. If they nova Fei Xiao, what do you think is going to happen? You know? Like, respectfully, even... Not even speaking if she gets Nova in the future. If Fei Xiao were to get a fair Nova in this current day and age, she would be better than both Avon and E1 Gilgamesh as a FUA DPS. Like, it's kind of a no-brainer to not Nova her if you're trying to make money off of the current characters. Because Fei Xiao has a really, really good kit for FUA synergy. So yeah, but I would say, because of this, you can expect a Fei Xiao Nova. In my opinion, early version 5, I think, is when she'll probably get Nova. Early version 5 is my guess. First half of version 5, I should say. So like version 5.0 to version 5.4. I mean, to be fair, Acheron hasn't received a buff yet either. And Fei Xiao released like 5? No. Fei Xiao released like 4 patches after Acheron. And Acheron hasn't even gotten her buff yet. So it's not that crazy to think that Fei Xiao hasn't gotten hers. $60 viewers. Thank you, guys. I've fallen off so badly, man. Did you get indirect buff, though? Yeah, I think that's the plan. They're like, oh, here's Ashvale and Emblade. It doesn't technically fix Fei Xiao, but you can wheelchair her for a while. And then it lasts long enough until she gets Nova. And then when she gets Nova, bam, back in the meta, baby. You know? Ashvale and Emblade are just kind of there to get her by. Time to leave, guys. My goat is washed. No. No. 60 jobless bums? I mean, are people supposed to be working at 1 in the morning? That'd be kind of crazy. Wait, people actually left after I said that. Wow, disgusting. Is Avon worth it for Ashblade? No. As an ex-Fei Xiao main, I'm disappointed in myself for not pulling Emblade and Ashvale. Ugh, disgusting. How could you? Wait, Solus, doesn't the Firefly account have an E0S1 Fei Xiao? That might be another Bitcoin in the future. I swear that account has everything. Yeah, nice. It also has Emblade on it. What do you think, Robin? Is she better than Blade? Yeah. Overall, value-wise, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. But, like, they're really close, in my opinion. It just depends on the teams you have. What are the top 3 strongest teams right now if Shilling didn't exist? Probably the Fua team, Himiko's team, and if only Pearl was close, this would be so much easier to answer. Evanesia, maybe? I think it might be Evanesia for now. It's probably Eva, the Fua comp, and Himiko. Do you think E0S Robin could replace E2 Sparkle in a Phanon team? No. If you are able to now free up your Sparkle for another team that wants her, I'd say yeah, it's worth pulling. But if your Sparkle is now going to be on the bench in comparison to E0S Robin, nah, no. Sparkle's better. Himiko stronger than Monorem? Monorem only becomes on par with Himiko at probably like 16 plus cost. And from what I've heard, now that Himiko has access to Robin SP, even at this 16 cost mark that usually favors Monorem, they still lose. So, yeah. I'ma go bye. See you later, Solus. It's that big? Yeah. Low cost, the difference is pretty noticeable. At high cost, it becomes less noticeable because, once again, Monorem scales quite well with high cost since their team is fully finished. But even then, like, Monorem only becomes better than Himeko, if I had to guess, when you're talking about full team E6s, or almost an entire team of E6s. Probably at that point, they might beat Himeko. Monorem has to be the biggest scam ever. I mean, it's not necessarily a scam. It's only a scam depending on how far you're going. Because the thing is, it's a scam for some people because they fall for the propaganda spread on social media that Monorem is the strongest team in the game without context, right? If you're a new player and you see, oh, this is the strongest team in the game, yeah, let me pull that shit. But then 99% of the time, people are talking about 10 plus cost, right? When it comes to, oh, Monorem's the GOAT. Monorem's the greatest in this game. It's always like 10 plus cost. So if you're willing to get to that investment, the longevity that you're able to get out of Monorem for being an over a year old team at this point is impressive, right? But if you are more of a horizontal investor and you don't really like going into that insane amount of vertical investment, yeah, it's worse. 100%. Like, it's just not worth it. You know? Respectfully. That's just kind of how it goes. Just wait for Cassie Nova Flare? I mean, yeah. The Amphorius characters are probably going to start getting Novas in version 5. Himeko Nova team versus Silverwolf team right now and long term? I mean, Himeko is beating Silverwolf's ass. Like, Himeko's the better investment in comparison to Silverwolf right now. And that isn't even including Robin SP, which is another upscale for her team. And her E2 investment is stronger. But, in the long term, with high levels of investment, I do think Silverwolf will be stronger. And also, Silverwolf, when her team is fully finished, will probably be more practical in, for example, MOC and lower target stuff, because Silverwolf is mainly a bounce damage dealer, while Himeko is an AoE damage dealer. The chances are that, similar to a Thurda situation, Thurda, to this day, is still able to get some insane clears on Pure Fiction, despite her being washed in lower targets. So Himeko should be similar, obviously better aging than Thurda, because she gets actual teammates, and she's a main push. But Silverwolf should probably be better in MOC and lower target content than Himeko, in my opinion, when her team is fully finished. The way I kind of see it, the Fua team will probably be the strongest or close to the strongest when it comes to single target stuff. Silverwolf's team will probably be the strongest in terms of bounce damage, and then Himeko's team will be the strongest in terms of AoE damage. And then Nihilux, I don't fucking know. You know? I don't really know what Nihilux's kit is going to look like. That could change things up, possibly. Think the leaks about Acheron, Dan Heng, and Jing Yuan getting paid buffs might be true? Yeah. I mean, Anon was the one who leaked it. At that point, it's basically... You could basically just consider it set in stone. Now, what do paid buffs mean? We still don't fucking know. Does that mean you pay with Jades? You get it through a gacha banner? It costs actual money? They never really specified what paid meant, which is a bit annoying. That's the only thing that's a bit of... it's kind of in the air for when these things release. Mortis said it's not a male team, by the way. Yeah, and is he wrong? I mean, Avin is losing to Robin SP right now on that team. Is he really wrong? Technically, the best Fua team doesn't have old men. Nihilux will give you a global debuff that cuts all your damage in half. I don't think they're going to have global passives. Oh, you're trolling. For some reason, that took me a second to process. But yeah, I think global passives is an any-character thing only. Avin is intended for Fua, not Robin. I mean, Avin also has synergy with the Elation team, though. You know? Like, that's the thing. Not only is the Fua team strongest team not with Avin, but Avin's strongest team is probably also with Elation. Especially when Pearl comes around. Because Emblade isn't going to be able to synergize with Pearl unless she's both a healer and a shielder at the same time. So it's like, I really just don't feel like he was wrong. Pearl's his best in slot sustain. Speed buffer who likes high attack frequency, like that's just obviously synergizing with Avin. If you could start investing in a single team right now for the long-term meta, would you rather invest in Himiko or Silverwolf? I prefer Himiko. Himiko has a higher chance, especially with her Eidolon investment like E2, of getting indirectly buffed through stronger supports in the future versions. The same way she's currently getting an increase in performance with Robin SP. But the thing with specific teams like Monorem and Elation is that their best in slot teammates aren't best in slot because of power creepable buffs. They're best in slot because of unique synergy and gimmicks that's hard to replace. So even if the Silverwolf team is stronger than Himiko's temporarily for a bit, it's unlikely that anybody on that team is going to get kicked out. Because even if someone better does eventually come around, you have E1 Sparksy, E1 and E2 Silverwolf, E1 and E2 Pearl, E1 and E2 Yao Guang. And all of these investments are probably going to be better than replacing them. But that doesn't really apply to Himeko. Himeko can pretty easily get teammate upgrades, in my opinion. I'm a dip. See ya. Saridra had unique gimmicks because of which she was best in slot for Noxa, but look at what happened to her. Why are you comparing Saridra to fucking Yao Guang? And like Evernight and Hyacine for Rem teams. It's just not the same. Respectfully. The only beneficial interaction that Saridra had with Anoxa was solely the double skill. And that was it. Yao Guang's entire kit is built off of having specific synergy with Elation teams, and basically no one else. Same thing applies to Evernight with Rem characters, and Hyacine with HP scalers. Like, I've already been on the wave that Saridra isn't going to last that long. This isn't anything new to me. I've been saying Saridra is a terrible pull since her beta, despite how much hate I got sometimes. It's not like I disagree with Saridra falling off in her teams. It was the most obvious shit ever. She has just way too many base kit issues and self-identity issues. Why do you even attack and have self-damage buffing traces when your best in slot main DPS is someone who never lets you be on field? Like, your main buff is attack buffing, but you're supposed to be for a guy who already has an insane amount of oversaturated attack. Your buffs don't make sense. Your kit philosophy doesn't make sense. Saridra was the 3.x Jalq? Nah, Saridra's at least still best in slot with Faye, I think. It's like barely, though. Like, it's hanging on by a thread. It's really hanging on by a thread. But, like, she's at least still best in slot for one person. And Rin main DPS. Which, to be honest, isn't that bad. Like, you could definitely make an argument for Rin main DPS. But, yeah, it's more accurate to call Cypher the Jalq. Because Cypher doesn't have a single best in slot team. At this point, she's just devolved into you can use as a fill-in generalist for teams you don't have finished yet. And her Lycone has higher value because of how good it is with Emblade than her herself. If you have an E2 S1 Faye X E2 Cyrene, you fine. Brother, that's 8 cost base investment. To make sure Saridra stays. Do you think Summer Robin will replace Saridra for Faye? No. I think a lot of you guys need to understand, Summer Robin increases the value of Cyrene and Faye teams, since Summer Robin's main thing with Phanon that makes it kind of crazy in Cyrene teams is that with Infinite Ult, Phanon will be able to eventually cap out the vibe stacks through his attacks for Robin's buffs, and because he's in an infinite ult, it never resets. He always has 40% defense shred and max attack buffs going for him. And this works mainly with Cyrene. If he gets kicked out of his ultimate and you don't ult again fast enough, and the birds take their action, or the state ends, then you lose half the stacks, and then it's kind of annoying for a few attacks. Also, with Robin SP being Remembrance, her synergy with that, with Cyrene, there's a rotation where even without E2 Cyrene, you can get Phenon into his ultimate with Cyrene at 70 AV. Only 70. That's less than a 0 cycle, like less than half of a 0 cycle's AV to get into Phenon's ultimate without E2 Cyrene, which is pretty good. That's impressive, yeah. So, because she's Remembrance, she helps with Cyrene stacking and a smoother rotation. And then she has oldest defense shred buffing. Keep in mind, unless you have Cyrene's Lycone, there's nobody on Phenon's team that has vulnerability buffing as well. So that 20% vulnerability is straight up 20% more damage. Huge for him. Phenon, Cyrene, RMC, Robin SP? Yeah, probably. Faye is still getting buffed? I mean, Faye likes defense shred. So yeah. Anybody who can stack up enough amount defense shred will highly benefit from another defense shred buffer. With E1 Ceridra, his Lycone, and a Robin at max stacks, he's at over 90% defense shred on his double skills. Well, yeah, you can obviously use Ceridra. Ceridra's better than RMC in that place, I'm pretty sure. What the dog doing? Alright, chat. I'm going to end the stream here. My throat is dead. I talk too much. Have a great day. Have a great night.